Okay, so if you watch this channel, you know I don't usually do videos like this where I just sort of sit down unscripted and just talk about something, but this Christmas, and it's December 26th as I'm recording this Christmas we had the, not announcement, but like the leak, the reveal that Hasbro is working with Paramount Pictures on a Power Rangers film, which we thought all hope was lost. Apparently not. Apparently there's a light in the distance, as spoken by Jin Saku, who is the main source, and DanielRPK, of course, who is his source, which in fact it was weird because I got the information from the Multiverse, whose source was Jin Saku, whose source was DanielRPK, so all of those guys are in credit to me knowing this information. But we've got a little bit of info about what could come from this Power Rangers film. Now, of course, we've been in the deep end. We've been in the thick of it with Power Rangers. You know, we haven't known what's going on. We've got the comic book still going for now. The toy line just kind of stopped, and obviously the show stopped last year. And we had the reveal that there's not going to be a Netflix reboot with Jonathan on Twistle anymore, and that all that fell through. And there was plans for like an animated show that fell through. I don't know, but finally we have some information. So I'm just going to go through Jin Saku's list here of what he said is like rumored and just talk about my thoughts on it. So the first one is that it's going to be a completely new film, nothing to do with Jonathan on Twistle's reboot for Netflix. Now, that's fine with me. The fact that they're working with Paramount, to me, already like narrows in what the story could be. Well, not necessarily the story, but what the show could be like, or what the film could be like. And that's the fact that Paramount owned Nickelodeon, and Power Rangers has once aired on Nickelodeon for about 10 years, I think it was. This is fine. There's no issue with that. It was always Saban that was the issue with Nickelodeon, and not Nickelodeon, even though they were the reasons for the like random Christmas episodes we got and stuff like that. But they do kids entertainment, right? And Paramount has just done the Sonic 3 and the Sonic films, which are incredible films, but of course Sonic is nothing like the Power Rangers. Now, I'm gonna have to I'm getting a new chair. My chair keeps lowering when it shouldn't. Paramount are just about to release Henry Danger the movie, which is through Nickelodeon, but is like a bigger scale version of the TV show. Like, it's not like a sitcom format, it is like a film. And they're obviously doing reboots with the Thundermans. They just did an iCarly reboot, and they're doing all stuff like that. I think if Paramount are at the helm of this, it's not going to be like a PG-13 like Marvel style film. I do think this is going to be a theatrical version of like a kids show, which I'm fine with, because that's, you know, Cosmic Fury, Dino, like Power, that is what Power Rangers has been. So cinema version of that aimed towards kids might be okay. That's what Sonic is. Sonic's PG, and they're incredible films. So I think that's my outlook on it. I think if Paramount are doing it, it's not going to be an older, darker story. I think it's still going to be very kid-centric, which is fine, because that's what the show is. The second point is that Hasbro and Paramount has been in negotiations for a few months now, finally made solid progress recently, and expect Paramount and Skydance to retain the media rights for the brand. Now, having them having all media rights could be very interesting. We learned very recently that Hasbro are just not doing any films anymore. They hated Transformers 1, even though the fans loved it. They're just like, we're done making films, and they want to give the film rights to other studios so then they can keep the toy rights and keep making the toys. Fine, do what you want, Hasbro, but giving the film rights to other studios, and a studio like Paramount wanting to make a Power Rangers film, beautiful, gorgeous, that's what we like to see. Them having all the media rights could open us up to more than just a film. Maybe more films. Maybe a Power Rangers, a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film, let's say, but then like a Mystic Force film, or a film with a different role, with an original team that isn't based on anything to do with Super Sentai. Obviously, in terms of Super Sentai, we don't know if there's going to be any relation there. If they're going to try and do anything with that, I can't see them going for Gojuja. I wouldn't complain if they did, but I feel like this is going to be all original. And again, that is fine. I think the purpose of this is understanding that we're getting something Power Rangers again. We can be picky, we're allowed to be picky, we're allowed to have our preferences, but this is big news. And maybe in a couple of months' time, it's the same with the Netflix reboot and it all gets cancelled and it's not a thing. This is big news, and we need to just allow it to happen and support it as well. It also says that within the meetings there was talks of a buyout, but they don't know how far things went with that, which obviously isn't really important to the fact that the film is being made. But it does say they've been developing this film, and as of recently things are moving fast, which is sick. And apparently, you know, they're aware of the 2017 film and they're trying to make sure they sort of build upon that in terms of like doing what they didn't do, and also just a better release. You know, the 2017 film came out in March, I think, which isn't, you know, isn't peak time, and maybe they're looking to bring this out in summer or winter. It does say suggested late 2026, which is 2025 in a week, so that's closer than I thought we'd get. And even if we cap that off as 2027, that ain't bad. that ain't bad. And you know, by mid next year, we'll definitely, if this goes forward, we'll definitely start seeing stuff, and then we'll get the official announcement. That would be sick. And then it says no story details at the moment, or whether or not it'll be another MMPR reboot, but whatever it is, they're confident enough to spend money on it. Development is moving fast, and expect to hear news by next year, more heavier news. First of all, Jin, if you're watching this, you know I've got respect for you. Like, I've shouted you out multiple times on this channel, and this is the best Christmas gift ever, obviously. I think, realistically, this means that there are companies interested in Power Rangers that think they can do good with it. And Paramount also means maybe Paramount Plus, but likely a theatrical release. And even if it's Paramount Plus, I ain't that bothered. Because what that means is the 2017 movie always did better on streaming. The stream, like when it was on Netflix and when people were able to watch it at home, that's when it brought money in. People didn't see it in cinema. And I'd love it if they did, and I'd love it if they saw this film in cinema. But Paramount is where they're going to be. When you're scrolling through the streaming service and thinking, oh, there's a Power Rangers film, I'm going to check that out. That's where they're going to get the money. So I don't mind if that goes straight to Paramount Plus, or at least if there's 2 releases, because of course I'd love to see it in cinema. But that falls sort of in again where the idea of, is this going to be like a Cosmic Fury type movie? Or is this going to be an Iron Man MCU style movie? We just don't know. And personally, like, listen, all I'm saying is, if we're being realistic, no matter what happens with this film, I am clearly gonna be there, right? I'm gonna be there. I don't want this build-up of false hope that there's another reboot and there's another this and another that, when it's just gonna all fall through. They were working on the Netflix reboot for 2 years, and then it all fell through because they were like, oh yeah, it was meant to be about Tommy Oliver, like at its core, or at least the Green Ranger. That's what Jonathan Entwistle was hinting at one point. And I don't know, man. You know, a lot of people say it's a dead franchise. If Super Sentai had also stopped, maybe. And if they stopped making films about teams, then again, maybe. Look at the most recent Sonic film, right? You go Sonic who's blue, Tails who's yellow, Knuckles who's red, right? And they're all a main team. And then spoiler alert, you get Shadow, and then we get revealed at the end, we get Amy. That's black and pink. Not only is that like the core Power Ranger colors, but it just shows that like teams of colorful people work in action settings with, you know, in Sonic 2 there was mechs. Like this, the concepts of Power Rangers aren't dead. People just think the show is because nothing happens with it, and it's not been able to break into mainstream as more recently. I think the last time they did it was probably the movie in 2017, and if not, then just Samurai. You know, there's ways that this can work. I want to see it, and that's about it. I know I've just rambled for a bit, but this is big news, and I love that we're getting there. It's an impromptu video, like I said. I'm here for it. I can't wait to find out more news. Guys, we are getting a Power Rangers project in some shape or form from Paramount, which I'm very excited for. Please, Lord, let this go through. Because oh, man, it's an underrated franchise. It really is. And I can understand why the average adult on the street doesn't want to watch Cosmic Fury. I get it. I genuinely get it. So many people I know say they really like the 2017 movie. People I know that are into film and like the nuances said they love the 2017 movie, and it's the fans that ruined it. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, thank you to Montyverse, Jin, and DanielRPK just for this news and for distributing the news and doing a great job at it. Thank you. Merry Christmas, of course, as well. Happy New Year. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. Do you like Power Rangers content? That's what I do here. Subscribe, stick around, because that's all we're doing.